Hello everyone, this is Manoj and welcome back to the React.js series. In this session, we will learn about list rendering. While working on React.js projects, you might have to render a list of items, for example, list of employees, list of products, so on and so forth. So let's take a simple example and see how this works. So in this component folder, let's create a new file and give it a name, list component.js. Let's create a simple functional component. So import React from React, const list component and return, let's say a simple div. This is list component and finally export default list component. Save, go back to app.js. Let's import this. So import list component from component.list component and comment this conditional rendering. And here, let's use list component, save, go back to browser. So this is a list component, perfect. Now go back to list.component. So here in this component, let's use a array. So const people, and in this people, let me use some names. So let's say Manoj, Virat, Rohit, save, and here in this div, let's take a break line, and after that, actually I misspelled this people spelling, so people 0 and people 2. Save, go back to browser. So we have successfully rendered a list of items from array, which are names as Manoj, Virat, Rohit. All right, this is a very simple and basic example. Now this is one of the approach. Let's use another one. So we'll use the same array, but we'll use and render the names from this array using map. So how we can do that? So simply here, people dot map. You see, people is an array, so map is automatically coming based on the array inbuilt functions. So here, now we need to take a variable. So let's say as this array consider and shows the inner values are the people names, so I'm using name and arrow function, and here not plus the arrow function, and here let me use h1, and inside this simply use name. Now save, go back to browser. You see, we have successfully rendered the array elements using people.map. Again, this is a very simple example. We can use the map over here, or if you want, we can also create another variable containing these elements. So here, let me copy this and paste it over here. Here, let me use the variable as const names. So if you hover on it, you see this says this is again an array. So this is again given some object, or you can say the array. So let's copy this and come here and simply put inside curly braces. So save, go back to browser. So you see, we have successfully rendered the same thing using another variable, or you can say the another object. So const name. So simply we can use the array indexing like 0, 1, 2, and we can use the map inside return, or if you want, you can create a variable, create object or create an array outside the return, and then you can use the same object and variable inside the return as a JSX. All right. So again, these are very simple example. Now let's create a separate file which will contain some data, and then we'll import that file in this component, and then we'll try to render the list. So in the component folder, let's create a new file. I'm giving it name employees.js, and inside this I'll create one list. So let's const employee list, and that will be an array. And now for the first, let me use first property as name Manoj, age 29, profession software developer. Let me copy this object and paste 3 times, and let me change the values. For the second one, let me use Virat, age 30, and profession cricketer. And for the last one, let me use Arijit, 31, and profession is singer. So save. So our data is ready. So I'm giving you an example with this static list, but in our real world applications, we will get this data from the database through an API. All right. So let's copy this, and don't forget to export it, otherwise you will not get it on your component. So go back to our list component and simply import list component from employees. Save. And this is not the default one, so we need to wrap it inside curly braces. So save. Now we can use this list component in our return method. So let's use a break line again, and here in the curly braces, so list component dot map. So let's say employee, and here simply return h3 hello. This is employee dot name. I am employee dot age, years old, and finally my profession is employee dot profession. Save. Go back to browser. Oops, I used the same component name. If you see the employee.js, so the data is in employee list. So let's copy this and change it here, also here. Let's save. Go back to browser. So you see, this is Manoj. I'm 29 years old. My profession is not coming. Let's see what is the problem. So the spelling. Now save. See, my profession software developer. Again, some problem with the cricketer. Cric. Perfect. So you see how easy it is to render any list, and these are some of the approaches. Now, so everything is perfect now. Let's add another step over here and put this data inside a child component. So it will make this component little lighter. So in the component folder, let's create new file and give it a name employee.js and import React from React and const employee props and export default employee. Save and go to list.component and let's cut this and over here paste it here, not here, in the return, and instead of this employee let's use prop.name, props.age and props.profession. Save here and let's use employee. So first import employee from employee and here, so name employee dot name, age employee dot age, and profession employee dot profession, and close this. Save, go back to browser. We can still see the same output, but now let me comment these things so it will give more clarity. Perfect. So now if you see this component, so here we are only mapping and passing the data to this employee child component. So this is the common approach which you will use a lot in React.js projects. All right. This is all about to render list data, but still there is one issue which I will talk about in the upcoming session. Let me show you. If I open the developer tools and if I go to console, you see we have one error. Each child in list should have a unique key, and I'll talk about in brief in my next video what is this key and how we can use this key as prop and how important it is for React.js projects and applications. All right, so I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye bye.